Hello and welcome to this first episode of Let's Play Football Manager 2016. In this series I'm going to be playing as Worcester City in the Vanarama National League North. Going to try and get them up to the Premier League, so it's probably going to be a fairly long series. In this first episode I'll just be giving you an overview of the club, showing you kind of my starting 11 for pre-season, going over my tactics. We'll play some pre-season games and see where we're at for the start of the season. So I don't know too much about Worcester City myself, but I wanted to pick a team from the lowest league you can start as, without any sort of updates in England. They seem like they're predicted to do quite well, so I wanted to kind of give myself a bit of a chance really. The squad, again, not familiar with many of the players. It's a bit of an old boys club up front though. Heard of Dion Burton, used to play for Derby and Portsmouth, a few clubs like that, Chef Wed. So he's been around, but he should still be able to do a job in the Conference North, as it used to be called. So good first touch still, good bravery, composure, decent stats anyway for the league. Along with him, we've got Lee Hughes, another old boy. Stats not quite as good, but he is nearly 40 now. So again, he's not on a contract either. He's a non-contract player, so he's probably going to leave. And then we've got Sean Harrod as well, who's a decent quality striker for this league. Really, really good. Hope I can keep hold of him. So I'm not too bothered about my strike force. I think they'll probably do all right. As far as the rest of the team goes, I've gone quite attacking because looking at the other teams in the league, I feel like I should do quite well and I should be able to dominate quite a lot of the games. I've gone for two ball-winning midfielders to keep it solid in the centre, and then just a normal central midfielder. This guy, Sean Geddes, again, looks really good for this league. Got fairly consistently good stats for this sort of level, so I'm chuffed that we've got him. And then I've just gone for flat back four. Again, not familiar with any of these players. I think I've heard of Clayton McDonald, maybe. Not sure where. Yeah, remember him from Man City. I'm not sure why I remember his name, but it rings a bell. But anyway, I've gone for a 4-3-3. I'm going to keep it fairly narrow, keep it structured and control the play. For my instructions, I've gone fairly narrow. Normal defensive line, exploit the middle and pass into space. I've told my players to stick to positions as well, and I might ask them to be more disciplined depending on how it goes for pre-season. That's what I'm going to be looking at for the majority of my games. If I've got some tricky away games, I might switch to 4 in midfield or maybe even 5 and just play 1 up front. But I'm going to want to try and kind of control a lot of the game, so I'm going to stick with the 4-3-3 for now. As far as kind of anything else goes with the club, I really am not familiar with most of the teams and staff at this level of football, so it's going to be a learning process. We have no scouts at the club, so I may have to employ a scout. We've got a couple of physios and 3 coaches, so I'm going to try and see if we can stretch the budget to get a few more staff members in, just to get it to a bit of a better level, really, because, oh God, apparently we are, oh no, we're average, not very good. How can we not be the worst for scouting? We have 0 scouts. Oh, we are the worst. Oh yeah, of course we are. And then for the physios, we're doing alright for physios and coaches, but they could really do with improving. I've had a look at a few transfer options so far. I've put an offer in for Hugh Johnson. Reason I did that, he's got quite good stats for a centre mid for this level. Good first touch, good passing, good teamwork as well, which is important at this level. Natural fitness is good and balance is good. No massive concerns over the other stats, so hopefully he'll accept, and that gives us a few more options in the centre of the park. Because I don't have any centre mids on the bench at all. The other guy I've gone for is Pierre-Joseph Dubois. Again, never heard of him, but he plays wide and up top. I was looking at him more as a striker because he's got quite good finishing stats, good finishing and good composure. Solid pace and off the ball as well, so again, should be able to do a job at this level. So he's going to be on loan. I think I put a loan offer in for him. Yeah, it was loan for him and he was on a free transfer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run through a few of the pre-season games, see how we get on with those. Then I'll come back and we'll see where we're at. Right, so played through pre-season. About to start the first game of the proper season against Gainsborough Trinity. I'll take you through how the pre-season went, show you kind of any more ins and outs we've had at the club. So starting with, where are we? schedule. So it's pre-season didn't start off too well. We lost to the under-21s, but I think that's probably because I made all my first team available stupidly because they were unfit. So really, it was kind of a role reversal. The under-21s were actually the first team, and the first team were the under-21s. So that's why that was happening. Morecambe at home, we lost 2-0. Again, bigger club than we are, so not hugely bothered. Last 3 games were all wins. 1-0 against Rushall, 6-0 against Highworth, and 3-1 against Stratford. So chuffed with all of those results. Now, obviously got Gainsborough, Tamworth and Lowestoft first 3 games of the season. As far as the ins and outs go, we have had a couple of players in. Like I said, Hugh Johnson that I was after, he's joined. He's gone straight into the first team as well. And I've also signed Austin Lipman. Now, I'm really pleased with this signing. I recognise the name because he used to play for Arsenal. He was at VCD. I don't even know who VCD Athletic are, but he was there. Got him on a free transfer. His stats look pretty solid. I'm playing him as a shadow striker. Good composure, good finishing, good first touch, good technique. So I'm hoping he's going to shine in that spot. I think he'll do pretty well. So I've adjusted my tactics slightly. As you can see, I've dropped Lee Hughes and I've put Lipman there behind Harrod and Burton. Sean Geddes managed to get injured twice in pre-season. Now he's out for 4 weeks. So the best midfielder is now injured, which is quite annoying because we don't have a great deal of backup. But I'll stick Tyler Weir in there. I think he's alright as a ball. No, yep, good as a ball-winning midfielder, so that can stay the same. I'll take Ashley Vincent off the bench and put Wayne Thomas on. Keep forgetting you can only have 5 subs. Right. Remove you from there then. So what we'll do now, one more thing as well. I actually got in a scout. Where is he? We are now the best in the Vanarama National League North at scouting. And that is because, if I can remember where to go, staff, here we go, right. Scouting team. Managed to get Patrick Anderson in as a chief scout. Now, he used to play for Barcelona, Bayern, loads of big clubs, Blackburn as well. So he's not quite sure what he's doing as chief scout at Worcester, but hopefully he'll do a good job. Good knowledge of mainly Scandinavia, a little bit of English knowledge as well, so just good to have a scout in really. I've also got, let's have a look, I do have an affiliation now. I asked for a feeder club. So Millwall are my feeder club. They're going to pay us nearly 13 grand a year, and we'll be able to get players on loan, and they'll pay the full wage whilst they're here. So always a good idea to do if you're a low down club. I've not had anything from them yet. I've not had any players suggested that I should get, but hopefully that'll be useful. Hopefully anyway. So that's the team I'm going to go with for the first game of the season. I'll play through that now, and then we'll leave it there for this episode. So the analysis seems to think this is going to be a draw. I wouldn't be that disappointed with a draw, but obviously I'd like to win, with it being the first game of the season. Key people, Sean Harrod for me, and somebody called Cliff Byrne for Gainsborough. Let's have a look, see how good he is. Meh. He's alright. He's fairly solid, I suppose, for a defender. So we're just going to continue. Let's see how the teams line up. Look at the opposition instructions, stuff like that. Just looking, it makes my players look much smaller. I'm not quite sure why the shirts appear quite that much bigger. Are they bigger, or is that just my eyes? They are definitely bigger. That is weird. So let's have a look, see what we're going to do with these. Brilliant. He doesn't feel confident enough in his ability on tactics to order advice. Excellent. So we'll close the wingers down. Hard tackling and show them onto their weaker foots. That's fairly standard. I normally do that. Always show them onto the weaker foots and then mark the strikers. Always. And again, hard tackling. Oh, not easy. Hard tackling. on both of those. I find that's kind of a standard setup if you're not too sure about the players you're playing against. Obviously, if there's somebody that really stands out and then they don't fall into those positions, I'll kind of adjust that as well. But that's what I normally go for as standard. With it being the first game of the season, let's go out and do it for the fans today. Right, so we've gone 1-0 down to Gainsborough. It was a corner in, and Bignall, again, don't know who he is, but he's buried that at the near post. Right, so half time we're 1-0 down. That goal from Gainsborough was pretty much the only real clear-cut chance of the half. We've passed it around nicely, but we've not really created anything clear-cut. So I'm going to change it around a little bit. I'm going to give him a little bit more freedom, a bit flexible, and we'll just pump the ball into the box. Push up slightly higher. See how that goes. And I asked him to show me something else in this half. That's motivated him, that's good. So when I'm all nicey nice with them, they get stressed, but when I'm assertive, they seem motivated. Fair dues, right. Let's see if we need to make any changes. My players really aren't that fit at the minute. Let's see how this goes. 92% physical condition. Got a decent bit of pace. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this guy on for Dion Burton, because he is looking knackered already. And I'm sure he shouldn't have been a deep line forward. Oh, God, right. Should have changed that. Let's push this guy forward. Let's make him a poacher. So push him a bit further forward. And we've got Tyler Weirs looking knackered as well. But again, like I was saying, we're a bit short on midfielders, so I'm going to have to look at some loan options, I think. Right, so full time, it's ended up 1-0 to Gainsborough. We did have a lot more chances in the second half, to be honest. A few decent chances, but just couldn't finish them off. All the players were absolutely knackered by the end of it. So things to take from this, I'm going to have to look at some more options for midfield for the bench. Just not enough to kind of bring on, no game changes on the bench at all. So I'm going to be looking into that, and obviously look to kind of build on that really, and hopefully get a better result in the next game. So let's give them a team talk. They weren't unlucky, so away from home I can't be too harsh on them. Let's have a look. They were fine, right. As you can see, it was a fairly even game. We had more shots and more possession. An awful lot more fouls as well. Goal scorer got man of the match. Sean Harrod, again, didn't do too much. I ended up with 4 bookings. That's a bit dirty. So yeah, anyway, I'll pick this up with the next game of the season. We'll run through a few games in the next episode. And hopefully we'll be looking in a little bit more of a better position than we are now, 20th in the Vanarama National League North. But again, thanks.